The book is divided into 9 chapters, and we are going to begin with the first chapter after an introductory prologue. Okay, so here we begin the first chapter, first part, you can say, and that is titled Ikigai. So let us begin. Ikigai. Ikigai, the art of staying young while growing old. What is your reason for being? According to the Japanese, everyone has an ikigai, what the French philosophers might call a raison d'etre. Some people have found their ikigai while others are still looking, though they carry it within them. Our ikigai is hidden deep inside each of us. Finding it requires a patient search. According to those born on Okinawa, the island with the most centenarians in the world, our ikigai is the reason we get up in the morning. Beside that, we can associate there is a diagram of ikigai, and that is you can associate 4 things with it. Something like ikigai can be a passion or a mission or a vocation or a profession, and something what you love or what the world needs. It could be what you can be paid for or what you are good at. It could be something like that. Okay, so that is all about ikigai. Whatever you do not retire. Having a clearly defined ikigai brings satisfaction, happiness, and meaning to our lives. The purpose of this book is to help you find yours and to share insights from Japanese philosophy on the lasting health of the body, mind, and spirit. One surprising thing you notice living in Japan is now is how active people remain after they retire. In fact, many Japanese people never really retire. They keep doing what they love for as long as their health allows. There is, in fact, no word in Japanese that means retire, in the sense of leaving the workforce for good, as in English. According to Dan Buettner, a National Geographic reporter who knows the country well, having a purpose in life is so important in Japanese culture that our idea of retirement simply does not exist there. The island of almost eternal youth. Certain longevity studies suggest that a strong sense of community and a clearly defined ikigai are just as important as the famously healthful Japanese diet, perhaps even more so. Recent medical studies of centenarians from Okinawa and other so called blue zones, the geographic regions where people live longest, provide a number of interesting facts about these extraordinary human beings. Not only do they live much longer than the rest of the world's population, they also suffer from fewer chronic illnesses such as cancer, heart disease, inflammatory disorders are also less common. Many of these centenarians enjoy enviable levels of vitality and health that would be unthinkable for people of advanced age elsewhere. Their blood test reveals fewer free radicals, which are responsible for cellular aging. As a result of drinking tea and eating until their stomachs are 80% full, the woman experiences more moderate symptoms during menopause, and both men and women maintain higher levels of sexual hormones until much later in life. The rate of dementia is well below the global average. The characters behind Ikigai. In Japanese, Ikigai is written as something like that you can see, and combining the first 2 letters, which means first letter, 2 letters means life, and that is Iki, or Gai, that means last 2 letters, to be worthwhile, and can be it can the last 2 words, 2 letters can be further broken down into the characters, that is armor and number one, and to be the first to head into battle taking initiative as a leader, and the last letter means beautiful or elegant. Though we all consider each of these findings over the course of the book, research clearly indicates that the Okinawa's focus on Ikigai gives a sense of purpose to each and every day and plays an important role in their health and longevity. The 5 blue zones. Okinawa holds first place among the world's blue zones. In Okinawa, women in particular live longer and have fewer diseases than anywhere else in the world. The 5 reasons identified and analyzed by Dan Buettner in his book The Blue Zones are: the first one and the topmost is Okinawa, Japan, especially the northern part of the island. The locals eat a diet rich in vegetables and tofu, typically served on the small plates. In addition to their philosophy of ikigai, the moai, or a close knit group of friends, you can see page number 15, plays an important role in their longevity. Second is Sardinia, Italy, specifically the province of Nuoro and Ogliastra. Locals on this island consumes plenty of vegetables and 1 or 2 glasses of wine per day. As in Okinawa, the cohesive nature of this community is another factor directly related to Okinawa their longevity. Loma Linda, California, researchers studied a group of Seventh-day Adventists who are among the longest living people in the United States. The Nicoya Peninsula, Costa Rica. Locals remain remarkably active after 90. Many of the region's older residents have no problem getting up at 5:30 in the morning and work in the fields. Ikaria, Greece, one of every 3 inhabitants of this island near the coast of Turkey is over 90 years old, compared to the less than 1% of the population of the United States, a fact that has earned it the nickname the island of long life. The long secret seems to be the lifestyle that dates back to 500 BC, before Christ. In the following chapters, we will examine several factors that seems to be keys to the longevity and are found across the blue zones, paying special attention to the Okinawa and its so-called village of longevity. First, however, it is worth pointing out that 3 of these regions are islands where resources can be scarce and communities have to help one another. For many, helping others might be an ikigai strong enough to keep them alive. According to scientists who have studied the 5 blue zones, the key to longevity are diet, exercise, finding a purpose in life, an ikigai, and forming strong social ties. That is, having a broad circle of friends and good family relations. Members of these communities manage their time well in order to reduce stress, consume little meat or processed food, and drink alcohol in moderation. They do not do strenuous exercise, but they do every move every day, talking, taking walks, and working in their vegetable gardens. People in the blue zones would rather walk than drive. Gardening, which involves a daily low intensity movement, is a practice almost all of them have in common. The 80% secret. One of the most common sayings in Japanese, hara hachibu, which is repeated before or after eating and means something like fill your belly to 80%. Ancient wisdom advises against eating until we are full. This is why Yokinons stop eating when they feel their stomach reach 80% of their capacity, rather than overeating and wearing down their bodies with long digestive processes that accelerate cellular oxidation. Of course, there is no way to know objectively if your stomach is at 80% capacity. The lesson to learn from this saying is that we should stop eating when we are starting to feel full. The extra side dish, the snack we eat, when we know in our hearts we do not really need it. The apple pie after lunch, all these will give us pleasure in short term, but not having them will make us happier in the long term. The way food is served is also important. By presenting their meals on many small plates, the Japanese tend to eat less. A typical meal in a restaurant in Japan is served in 5 plates on a tray, 4 of them very small and main dish slightly bigger. Having 5 plates in front of you makes it seem like you are going to eat a lot. But what happens most of the time is that you end up feeling slightly hungry. This is the one of the reasons why Westerners in Japan typically lose weight and stay trim. Recent studies by nutritionists reveal that Okinawans consume a daily average of 1800 to 1900 calories compared to 2200 to 3300 in United States and have a body mass index BMI between 18 and 22 compared to 26 or 27 in United States. The Okinawan diet is rich in tofu, sweet potatoes, fish 3 times per week, vegetables roughly 11 ounces per day. In the chapter dedicated to nutrition, we will see which healthy antioxidant rich food are included in this 80%. Moai connected for life. It is a customary in Okinawa to form a close bond within local communities. A Moai is an informal group of people with common interest who look out for one another. For many, serving the community become part of their ikigai. The Moai has its origins in hard times when farmers would get together to share best practices and help one another cope with meager harvests. Members of a Moai make a set monthly contribution to the group. This payment allows them to participate in meetings, dinners, games of course, shogi, that is Japanese chess, or whatever hobby they have in common. The funds collected by the group are used for activities, but if there is money left over, one member decided on a rotating basis receives a set amount from the surplus. In this way, being part of a MOI helps maintain emotional as well as financial stability. If a member of MOI is in financial trouble, he or she can get an advance from the group's savings. While the details of each MOI's accounting practices vary according to the group and its economic means, the feeling of belonging and support gives the individual a sense of security and helps increase life expectancy.